learned a few things from the Armour review I did a couple of weeks ago. One, that Attack on Titan's outfit is universally acknowledged not to be armour. Still pretty though. Two, Achilles in the Iliad apparently has extremely elaborate armour. Though I think we can all agree that Troy bears as much resemblance to the Iliad as... You know, I was going to say something, but you can insert your own metaphor here. And three, a surprising percentage of Baldur's Gate 3 players are in desperate need of a shower, preferably a cold one. All this to say, welcome to another Armour tier list. Our tiers run from I'd wear it at the top to pretty good, also fairly self-explanatory, in the middle for things which aren't good, but they're not that bad, could be worse for stuff where somebody tried, just not very successfully, and just stab me now for the worst offenders. We also have not actually armour for things which... well, the clue's in the name. As you can see, my hoodie says just stab me now, because that is also what my book is called. But they can say other things too. Also, this video is sponsored by me, and if you're watching it on Black Friday, Spreadshop has 30% off everything. Cheers. Kicking things off with Orin the Red from Baldur's Gate 3, because who doesn't love putting discount Harley Quinn on their thumbnails? The person who sent me this suggestion says she looks like she's wearing a lobster, and I really can't disagree. Definitely lobster or crab or some kind of shellfish there. Quick question though, why is she wearing a lobster? I know from the comments in my last video that basically everyone in the game is extremely thirsty and that quite a significant percentage of the people playing the game are also extremely thirsty. But shellfish? Luckily this is a video game, so there are cutscenes, and I just want to tell you that one of the compilations that I found for Orin's scenes was called Murder Mommy. Some of you need Jesus. Look, no matter how much I zoom in, I just can't see any kind of articulation there. And yet her arms are bending. I am not sure that lobster shell can do that. I mean, I suppose you could wear lobster shell as armor because the point of the shell is to protect the lobster's squishy, delicate internal bits. But if we both assume that you can derive some protection from it and there is some kind of articulation so that she can, in fact, bend her arms, I mean, just stab me now. Come on. Like, why? Not only do you have giant holes where, you know, your internal organs would be, I assume. There's also this thing and this thing. And whatever that is just looks hideously uncomfortable. And also this, just no. There's also the fact that if you bend forward, you're just going to crack that. You can cut yourself on lobster shell, can't you? It's sharp enough to do that, right? What is it with game characters today not wearing any shoes? At least the other example is a bit more understandable. You'll see. Was like hot, masochistic, and also as thick as champ what you were going for here? Because if so, you nailed it. Just stab me now. Next up, Post Malone in his Circles music video. And unlike Chapel Roan, who was in my last video, when I played the Circles music video, I said, oh, I've actually heard this song, which was not true of any of Chapel Roan's stuff, so yay for that, I guess. The armor in Post Malone's video is actually available on Amazon, at least sometimes. The main comments in the review section are that it doesn't fit you right out of the box. You need to shape the pieces to your own individual body, and also that the edges are quite sharp, neither of which are particularly surprising things for something at this price point. My first impression was, looks generally pretty decent, but then I wondered to myself, what are these things on the back? Like these dragon wing pauldron type things. And then we got to this part of the music video, and yeah, that's not the best. That's not the best right there. Vacillating between and could be worse here. On the one hand, it looks pretty nice. If you shape it, apparently it fits okay. On the other hand, it may be horribly uncomfortable to wear. Some of those pieces just don't quite go properly, and I'm just not sure. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm edging towards here, but I could be persuaded either way. Okay, next up is Monkey Fella Son Wukong in Black Myth Wukong. I'm sure there are a lot of different armor options in this game, but here is one of them, and boy, it's so pretty. How is it this pretty? Look at the detail on that, dang. So here is a fact that I know about Black Myth Wukong. They based a lot of the armor designs on Tang Dynasty China, and I'm gonna show you some pictures on the screen right now so you can see where the inspiration is coming from here. And if we zoom in here, you can see this stuff right here. So I have seen some debate as to whether mountain pattern armor was ever an actual historical thing, but if it was, we're in the right geographical location and time period for it, so why not? It's a fantasy game, it's got magic monkeys in it. I'm not an historian and I don't know, but I can tell you that it does look very pretty. I think there's another example of it somewhere, hold on. This stuff right here, you see how it's that kind of shape? I've got to say that this part looks a little weird, I'm gonna be honest, but we're mostly focusing on the other one, so let's go back to that, because hot dang, I would wear that. Even though I'm not a monkey and so I would have to wear shoes, I would still wear this. Someone clearly made this with so much care and attention. The video games are getting terrible detail these days, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'd probably prefer a helmet. These other guys get helmets, but, you know, I'm not a magical monkey. Last up for today, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. And also my husband's hoodie. And right away, I'm just not seeing this as armor, you guys. He's wearing furry pants and boots and this thing. Which, going on the evidence presented to me by watching a clip of the cartoon, is just a very elaborate back scabbard. I'm just saying. Tila, this looks like a swimming costume. This is dangling at the front, so I'm thinking it's cloth, and this collar, I'm not convinced any of this is armor. Also, I would just like to take a moment to say no to the high-heeled boots. Thank you very much. But if it's not armor, like, does it really matter, I suppose? Tila also seems to have vambraces, but again, hers are in the same white as her random swimsuit, so I'm just not convinced, guys. I'm just not convinced. Thing is, over in the evil corner, you've got Evil Lynn here, and she's just clearly not metal. Like, it's not armor, though she also has the spiky boots. I suppose Evil Lynn does have the dodgy vambraces and whatever these are, but honestly, they do mostly just look like decoration. You can't tell what anything's made of because it's a cartoon, so I mean, that doesn't help. What can you do? This fella right here, whose name and job and everything else about him I have completely forgotten, he does at least look like he's trying to wear armor. Like, not loads of it, but he's got a breastplate and he's got some arm protection and he's got some lower leg protection. It's like not the worst thing ever. My question is, what is this? Especially because it made me think to myself, is it some kind of bodysuit? Is it supposed to be protective? I don't know. I'm gonna rate this guy pretty good because he does have a helmet. He is covering his torso, albeit not amazingly. He's got some problems there, but he's doing his best. He's covering his vitals before he covers everything else. I mean, yes, he hasn't covered his entire torso, but he has at least started with the torso. He's covered his lower legs as well. Sure, whatever. Like, I've definitely seen much, much worse. Pretty good to you, sir. That being said, he did then make me wonder about Skeletor, because I always just assumed that Skeletor had blue skin. But this guy, we might need to get rid of all the lines on here. This guy here is clearly wearing some kind of bodysuit because it stops at his neck, right? But Skeletor, he's blue, right? All over, except for his face. So is that a bodysuit? But I think that it is not. Because he's also wearing underpants, but that's not really the point. The point is that, look, he's got claws. So I think, unlike the other guy who's wearing a green bodysuit, he just has blue skin, which also puts him firmly in the category of not actually armor as well, just so we're clear. Never in my life had I ever considered that before, so I guess thank you for making me consider that. If you had never had to consider it before and were very happy about that, you're welcome. Anyway, this episode has been sponsored by me. You can buy a hoodie, or a mug, or a sticker, or whatever from Spreadshop. You can also buy my book, which is based on the YouTube series of the same name, from wherever books are sold. But if you haven't ever heard of the series before, I would advise you watch at least a little bit of that first, just to see if you like the premise. I'm just saying. Thanks for watching, and not skipping the sponsored by me part, and I'll see you all soon.